We had a banger UFC card yesterday. Let's talk all about it and what could be next for these fighters. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This is MMA 365, the greatest UFC news YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe, especially because Yuri Prohaska has returned to Shamil Gaziev's Royal Kingdom, and he's seeking Shamil's finest meal. And the only way we can get that meal cooked and served up is if you hit that subscribe button. About 92% of you are not subscribed. So if you're a new viewer and you enjoy this type of content, be sure to check and hit that button. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, so let's talk about yesterday's fight night. Um, First thing I want to highlight, this is a picture of the main card, but on the prelims, I want to give shout out to Jocelyn Edwards. She had a really good performance. There was like three separate finishing sequences that she pulled together before the judge finally called it. Um, she chose violence, and I'm very intrigued to see what she does next. And also, in my opinion, the fight of the night, at least the one that was went to a full fight, was the featured fight on the prelims between Carlos Leal and Chadian Jacani. A really fun striking matchup. Both of those guys went to war with each other. I had a great time watching it. There was kind of a lull, in my opinion, um, right around like the prelims and like the start of the main card. A lot of decisions in a row. Some of them more entertaining than others, but this card started like 15, 20 minutes late, egregiously late, because pretty much every single prelim fight did go to a decision. So the card ran over that 8 p.m. start time. Um, Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Um, but it was ultimately it ended on a pretty high note, so everything made up for itself. I left satisfied. Michelle Pereira beat Zachary Reese. This kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because there were a couple of questionable groin shots that didn't look like to really hit Michelle Pereira's family jewels, but he still took a break. Um, Either way, this was a split decision. I don't have too much more to say about it. Jacoby Smith made a quick work of Josiah Harrell. Kind of just got into a good position while scrambling and landed some nasty ground and pound to finish the fight. I thought this was a late stoppage. I feel bad for Josiah Harrell because of that. He took some blows that I thought were unnecessary. And Josiah Harrell, he had a brain injury, brain condition in the past. So I didn't like seeing that. But Jacoby Smith, I mean, he's getting touted as one of the rising welterweight contenders, and I do think he has a bright future ahead of him. Uh, as for Sergey Spivak and Anti Delia, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had to do something when this fight came on, so unfortunately I didn't get to watch. But good for Sergey Spivak, showing that he still belongs in that top 10, top 8 heavyweight contender status. Uh, still a bona fide gatekeeper. So shout out Sergey Spivak. As for the featured fight, the co-main and the main event, uh, Melquiza Costa, he had a insane knockout of Dan Ige. I'll look this clip up if you didn't see it. Just a spinning heel kick right to Dan Ige's orbital bone. He looked like he was in tears afterwards, and I don't blame him. The Ige's right eye was completely swollen shut when he was standing there. I mean, no one does Dan Ige like that. He's the 29-28 decision kind of guy. He has a reputation for having a pretty good chin. So, the fact that Costa won and in very dramatic fashion, I'm very curious to see who's next for him. I definitely think this warrants a pretty big leap up in the rankings for Costa. Maybe like a Arnold Allen or a Steve Garcia, Yusuf Zalal, that kind of fighter. Um, good for Costa. Done a nice run, a lot of finishes in a row, and yeah, he's really cementing himself now as a rising featherweight contender. That division's looking pretty loaded now. The Kevin Vallejos is also on the rise, so is Steve Garcia. Um, then as for the co-main event, Uros Medic literally knocked the snot out of Jeff Neal. There was a white flying object coming out of Jeff Neal's face when he got brutally chinned. I thought it was his mouthpiece, but no, that was just straight boogie. He literally got the snot knocked out of him. Uh, Medic, he just landed a shot right on Neal's temple, and Neal went bye-bye. I do want to shout out Uros Medic, because he made a fan out of me. He was a lot of fun on the mic afterwards. He was very charismatic. Called out Leon Edwards, and well, Edwards just got chinned by Carlos Prates, so he's looking off quite chinny of late. Leon Edwards. I think that would be a fun fight. I don't know if the UFC will go to Serbia. It would be fun, but Uros Medic, he said the UFC should put on an event in Belgrade, Serbia. They're going to London in March. So maybe, and I do think going forward we should see more international cards. I think they're fun, and the crowd is always a little bit more engaged than in somewhere like Vegas, especially in Europe. So maybe we can get another Europe card in the future. That would be nice. Put Uros Medic on it. This guy looked really good last night, and if his mic presence is any indicator, he could really be a star going forward. So, shout out Uros Medic. You've converted us. MMA 365, we are Uros Medic fans now. As for the main event, Sean Strickland on a masterclass. I mean, Fluffy Hernandez just couldn't get anything going. Strickland he fought his textbook game plan. He stood there and jab, jab, jab. Like every 2 seconds, Strickland was just landing a jab. And it must be so frustrating to fight against someone like that, because you can't even think. You're getting hit in the face every 2 seconds. Not the hardest hit in the face, but how are you supposed to land combos or shoot a takedown? How are you supposed to think? Game plan, you know? You're just getting hit in the face over and over and over again. I thought Sean Strickland looked absolutely brilliant, and I've seen people online ripping on Fluffy Hernandez. I don't think that's warranted. I did think that Hernandez kind of got lulled into Strickland's game plan and fought a fight that really benefited Strickland's style, but Hernandez did attempt a couple takedowns. He just couldn't finish them, and Strickland's defense was really good. His striking was great, and then in round 3, he landed a really big knee right above Fluffy's rib cage, and he just folded from there. Nice ground and pound to finish the fight. And Fluffy was wobbly. So the underdog, Sean Strickland, got a very impressive win, and I think stylistically he's a really good match for Khamzat Chimaev. I know there are rumors of Khamzat vacating, but if that fight does happen, I really do think that of the middleweight contenders, Sean Strickland is the one that's the best fit for Khamzat Chimaev stylistically. I mean, I know Khamzat's wrestling is so much better, leaps and bounds, than everyone else's. No disrespect to the other contenders, but we know it's true. But Strickland, he has his own unique style. His defense is really good. His BJJ in wrestling, we haven't seen it of late, but training partners have raved about Strickland's ability to defend takedowns and wrestle if needed. He said going into this fight, he prepared his wrestling a lot more, but we didn't even get to see it because his takedown defense was so good. So I really think that's the very clear fight to make. Hopefully we can get that in June, July. That seems like a good timeline, if you ask me. But yeah, Sean Strickland delivered. What a masterclass. It was a really fun fight to watch. That'll conclude this video for now. Be sure to subscribe so that Yuri Prohaska can get his delicious meal from our king, Jamil Gaziev. Very important. So we need to make sure Yuri gets that great meal, and we need you to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching.